You see, like
Here,
if someone was just like waiting to pop up, right?
there's some bug with these. Not every time it works. I can't move, but I remember there is a glitch that after a combination of reloads it works.
Oh,
I
it
don't
was
remember.
the inputs, right?
Yeah, it was the inputs. But I don't understand why it is not working now.
Well, reload again.
I am reloading it multiple freaking times.
Okay, I can't. It's so fast then because we can see.
Yeah, but it was working. I showed in the video, right? The video it was working. I need to discover why this bug is happening, but
Open the console and click on the thing on the page.
open the console.
Console.
Whoo!
Yes, it is. Now
Oh,
click.
now it
Yes.
works.
Yes, I don't
I don't
know.
know, but it's not this actually. Oh, now it see? Now it works. Oh, and there's some crazy things happening with the. Oh, it's working. Yeah, so that's what we did basically, Nathan. So let's see the code. So the first thing that the one of the important things that we did is that we made these variables here to be a little bit easier to handle the sizes of things in the code because we I we didn't find a way to have the same approach for the HTML stuff. So the HTML still has some hard-coded stuff that we can change by the variables.
Yeah, you can create dynamically or just set the width.
Uh huh. That's an
Oh,
option.
Commander. Hello, Commander.
Hello, Commander.
Hey,
Second thing that we did, we added a library called FP, and with that we now have pattern matching.
Well, useless pattern matching, I would say. Yeah, we do.
So there's we changed the null thing that we did back in the day to an option because now we can do that. Uh, so this is basically the input of which key in the keyboard you pressed, right?
what
And
language is that? Oh, that's TypeScript.
yeah, this is
Yes.
TypeScript commander. Yeah, because we are trying to make a game.
Well, that's
Oh,
not a reason to use TypeScript, right? But
Yeah, not because
I thought you guys are doing silverware.
we can if well we did that last time on Tuesday, but today because
Oh, I see.
Nathan is here today, we decided to go with the project that he's most enthusiastic about, which is the browser game.
Mhm.
I'm kind of more enthusiastic to the silverware, to be honest. But I don't mind.
So the game is inspired by a game that Magetta loves, which is
Oh, this game is.
this game. So it is an arcade style, very complicated and very hardcore gamers play. So that's what. But we're just gonna change the. We will try to mimic the mechanics and just change the theme. So it's a GNU a GNU spaceship. So yeah, and then we are making the game in TypeScript because we want to not use JavaScript, but we decided to give it a chance to the browser, just for fun.
No, that's okay. I mean, I was thinking you're doing something else, but this is fine as well.
Yeah, no, I'm just setting these expectations right. So okay, so we did that, not done. So just continue to the updates. We added a library for have function programming stuff. We added and then we changed the code to not use nulls. And we also did a movement strategy, right? So that idea that I described to you in another session, which was that using a periodic function to try to not have the trouble of moving enemies in a periodic manner. So I implemented that. So that's why the Apple logo is doing this. This is copyrighted. So this is the Maple logo. Maple logo. Any similarities to anything else is just a mere coincidence.
Oh, dude. You doing inverted or something?
No, this is what's the name of the license, Magget? Common something
It's
something.
a. I think it's under GPL, but I don't know if they can do this because well, it's Apple logo, but well,
Dude.
Yeah, we can reverse it and make another
right?
byte in other
Yes,
side. I
they
don't
can
care. I
do.
can change that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, it could be Python's logo, something
Yeah.
like this.
It could be Python. uh, anyway, so I just noticed that something is using my camera. Oh, OBS is
Oh,
using my camera. Okay. Because yeah, I configured that before. Yeah, that's okay. No, nothing is happening. Anyway, so that's why the logo is doing this movement is because I messed around with the cosine function and I added some arbitrarily chosen numbers to multiply into sum in order to fit in the browser window because if you the ways that we tried before on the previous session, the thing was so fast, it was moving in a so fast manner, and it was moving out of the screen pretty fast as well. So in this way, we just have an enemy here. So something that I thought about doing today, that I actually wanted to do after we finished the recording, was to actually make a function that will pick the projectiles that this guy is launching and pick the enemies array, which in this case we only have one. And if there is an intersection between the picks of the positions of the coordinates of the projectiles, any of them, and one of these guys, I'm just going to remove this guy from the screen. And then I also thought about adding a timer between 10,000 millisec between 10,000 and 10,000 milliseconds. I spawn another guy that uses a different movement function that we can change the values and change the things. So I thought about doing that. So what other ideas you guys have?
Um, I would say collision, but I think it would be better adding more stuff and rendering more stuff to the screen. What do you think?
Um, that's an option. Another thing that we should do that I am very
Oh,
not
I
pleased is
know.
that
I know
if I
what.
hold Z, this happens.
Yeah, so that's I would say I was going to say something very cool, which is adding more sprites. Like for example, we can make a spaceship sprite, and then if you move right, the sprite just changes. You see a little bit like as if the spaceship is moving to the right.
but
You see?
isn't that like sugar on top of stuff? Like,
Well, that saying of implementing the
Oh,
mechanics of changing sprites.
another thing that we did is that before, if you press the key would be holding down forever. So if you pressed up, the thing will go up forever. And we changed the mechanism to be like, as soon as you release the key, the guy stops moving. So because that was not happening
yeah,
before.
that's important, I guess. Oh man, but that's the coolest sprite we could have ever get. Like,
Yeah. So I don't know what is a sprite. So is that how you pronounce it? Sprite.
yeah,
So sprite. What is this?
yeah, not programming.
So how do I
You
search
can
for it?
say image, like an image for a character for a given like
Is a
frame of
two-dimensional
animation.
bitmap that is integrated into a larger scene. So you mean making the arts of the game?
No, no. I just said the image that we use for our character is pretty good. Sprite you can just change for image or whatever, even if it's more precise than that.
Oh, you want to change this guy, Magete?
Oh, yes, it's a spaceship game. Why are we using like the super GNU?
Because
That's
we can change the theme to be a superhero game. Right.
well, we can.
Uh,
Folks, but like, I think that's pretty silly, dude. We have a lot of things to lift. Like,
yeah, changing the
I'm
art we
not
can do
sure.
offline. I can
No,
draw the
no,
thing
dude.
later on my
I'm not
iPad.
saying about changing the art now. I'm saying about doing the mechanics for adding more art. For example, no sprites moving.
Sprites
Look
moving.
for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, for example.
Okay,
That's
so
exaggerating. I'll say this
Castlevania
beforehand. Symphony of the Night and check a
Symphony of the Night.
video.
Oh, there's a video about it.
Yeah, check a video like a random. It's just well, you're not gonna see the sprites moving. That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
Search
you
for a video.
mean the sprites moving? You mean the different arts that happens when your character
Check
is
a
like
video. You'll
walking?
see what I'm saying.
Like animation, right?
It is
Yes, for
animation
the
related.
sprites.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like GIF or something. Yeah, that
There's
works.
there's this,
Let's make an
and it's
ad
the
for
Brazilian one.
up. Oh, dude.
Chosen at
This
random.
dark, yes, dude. Come on, dude. Becca decided. Yeah, you see, so like this is a very exaggerated. I don't think we can do this. Uh, well, we can, but like not in our budget and time. But what I'm saying is like making multiple sprites. We don't need to do the sprites now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're
And then
talking
we do
about
a
the
mechanics for
internal behind the
changing the
hood
sprites
things.
depending on the movement. You see?
Mm.
So
I
what I'm
guess
saying, check the Radiant Silvergun, the actual game. The game is
radiant.
actually like has 3D elements as well, so it's kind of different.
Is there a way, a thing on Switch of this? I think you
Yeah,
mentioned that, right?
There's a port of the arcade
Oh,
version.
this is the final boss. I remember.
Yes. So yes, this is the final boss. This is one of the phases of the final boss. But anyway,
Uh,
like you see how you move like left and right, and the spaceship like tilts.
yeah,
So that is because well, you basically have one sprite to the right and one sprite to the left. You see, so that's how you simulate as if the thing is moving. So
yeah,
I'm just saying this because I want to add more life to the game and add more stuff on the background as well. So I don't know, like it
yeah.
renders. How do we? One good thing we could do, okay? How to render something on the back?
How to render something on the background? You mean?
Yes, on the background.
We can try to discover that. Nathan probably knows.
How
Well,
to
we are
render
already
like
doing that.
it could be a contiguous image that we just repeat, you know, like trees, for example, and then it makes it seem like you are flying and the trees are passing by. You see?
But unless you have a good reason for that, it's probably more efficient to just like edit the thing and just render one image as the background.
Yeah,
Edits the thing and okay, yeah, and keep swapping, right? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
what I mean is if you have something like that is not in movement and such, or I don't know. What I mean is if you have like one tree and you will programmatically like
Oh
render
yeah. Mm-hmm.
10 trees in the screen, maybe that's not the best idea if we can just like make an image of that and render just one.
Or maybe.
I think
I mean,
both
I'm just
ideas are
giving the
valid
ideas for
of
the.
making the background stuff. I think that I don't know. Maybe that's only my opinion. I think the idea of being able having a logic already built in to to remove enemies from the screen if they are hit by a projectile. I think that's I would be more interested in making that first, and later on we make the surroundings like the background and the character tilting because I'm pressing to the right and stuff. I think that would be more
Oh,
um,
so go.
a main feature. But
Definition.
I just want to hear your opinions. That's what I mean. So
My
what you
opinion is
say, Nathan?
different.
Yeah, I would say collision, dude.
You would say collision.
And that's the thing you said.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you're gonna make collision with
I
this
have
Oh,
sprite.
no, but then I have an
that's
idea.
the way we love Magita. In a loop, you just filter, dude. That's nothing better than that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I thought the dumbest way possible is doing a double for loop. Right.
What?
Yeah, you do a for loop throughout the enemies and a for loop throughout the projectiles, and you see if they have any coordinates that one is in the other. If they have, that enemy is down, and that's it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and that's a filter, right?
Yeah, but
Uh,
it's not
yeah.
a dot, right? It's a
Not
square.
what?
It's not a dot, right? That you're doing. It's a square for the collision.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that's
A
something
dot?
important that you said. We are treating each one of these things like their coordinates is only the top left corner, right? We need to make a notion of a hitbox now. Because like
Dude,
if you are in
if you
the
have the
area of this
width,
guy, you're done.
if you have the width and the height, that gives you the thing. if there is a better way to have like a first class notion of hitbox, I have no idea how to do it.
Okay, but if that's the case, if we need to save that around, I think we should put in the types.
Sure.
So, for instance, the spaceship, now we can
I
say
mean,
it has a width.
dude, if we don't have that, is that only on the render? Like hard coded somewhere?
That's only on the render. That's only on the render in typescript.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's only on the render. So this is gonna be a number, and then, oops, and then we also need to have a height, right? And then we're gonna also have to have this on the enemies themselves. Yeah. So yeah, so that's how we do it. And then when you create the things, you actually need to pass those down. I don't remember the syntax. Do I have to put, yeah, comma. So width, I can just say it is equal to, there's a thing, player width. So player width, and also the height, right? So it's gonna be player height, like that.
Yeah, that initial spaceship is also like a constant, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna put that inside the game state. So uh,
Then, then, then what?
no, it's because we don't use these two, right? We never ever use them separately anyway. We only use the game state once after. That's my point. Um,
Wait, the state is immutable, right?
the state is immutable.
That's your initial spaceship and enemy, right?
Yeah,
All of the things that you contain that is like you know in advance, right?
yeah.
What I mean is that as is constant as player with it, for example.
Oh, it's constant because I'm controlling it up here. So, uh, I think maybe it's an interesting way of doing, like making a function that generate the hitbox. Then we can pass, I don't know, current as the current set of coordinates, and then we also ask for the width of the thing. So this is gonna be a number, and we also ask for the height.
Wait, maybe that doesn't make sense, Lemus. Do you have something for which you need the hitbox itself? Because
Yeah,
suppose you
we
have
need that for
some
the calculation of the
collision.
collision.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense then. Because take a look. You want to know the collision between the spaceship and some like projectile and shit. Then you can have a function to do that. Why would you have a function to get the hitbox, then use the hitbox to use to that other function? You see, if you are not going to use the hitbox in a direct way, you don't need it as a concept.
I don't think I agree with that. I think you're doing two things at
Hmm.
once, making it in one single function. I prefer having
Well,
the abstraction of having a hitbox, and I can reuse it as I may please in other scenarios. In
so
comparison
isn't that the
to,
thing of abstracting when we have no idea?
no, but I have an idea.
Yeah.
I can give you an
Okay.
idea, for instance, of the. I would use this, but for instance, to not allow the player to get out of the screen
Mm.
in any
Uh,
manner, like also
and
down here.
yeah, but for that you also don't need a hitbox.
No, but I can
That
use it.
doesn't add any value, right?
No, you asked in which scenarios you would be using the hitbox by itself. I just gave you an example.
Well, sure.
So you want to make a function that just I don't know, is conflicted, maybe. So what name should we have for this function that will search for the collision? Is collide? Is that a thing? Is collided like that?
Was hit?
Was hit. Okay, so was hit. So we need the current set of coordinates of the enemy or the player. We also need the width and the height of this thing, and we also need where is the projectile. Then the question becomes, does the projectile also has a hitbox?
Hmm. I would ask something about the notion of the state, right? Like usually the way we do is that way. Like we make a function and you see what it receives and it receives what it needs, right? What it makes sense. But what about those cases in which we are always dealing with the whole fucking state? Does it make sense? Like for most functions, receive only state and do what they need? Or would that bring something really bad that I'm not seeing?
I think you were doing what you said. You were like, we don't need a function that it receive. This function does not need to receive the game state entirely. These ones they
Yeah.
do because it was easy for me to just pick the first one, and I was too lazy to make more arguments. Or update with action, for instance. This made more sense to have the game in here. But for only the criteria of being hit or not, you just need these three as far as I can tell. You don't need the other enemies, for instance, because the game provides you all the enemies. So, do you need that to see if it was hit?
So for something like testing would be bad then? I guess that's the thing I can think of.
Mm.
Especially when we have types. Then why do you require the whole state when I just want to test that, right?
Mhm. That's a good way to think about it as well.
So, yeah. So why? What do we want? Like the spaceship and the projectiles? Oh no, wait. The enemies and the projectiles, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Do we want to make a function that receives the enemies in the projectiles? Because I think that the spaceship also needs to have an interface to this. Because sometimes when the enemy starts sending projectiles as well, we're gonna have to also have a function for the spaceship to see if the thing was hit as well.
Does it
So
make sense to have one function that does both? I think it looks odd. It sounds odd.
for me, the opposite sounds odd.
Really?
Yeah, for me, having two functions that do the exact same thing, but one for enemies and another one for spaceship, that sounds odd.
No, I guess they are, well, not so different indeed. Mm.
So
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I was thinking like, okay, you receive a list of enemies and a list of uh, projectiles and shit. But indeed, if you are talking about only one enemy, then it's the same situation, right? It's the same code indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
another problem that I just noticed. Do the projectiles also have hitboxes?
Well, they have coordinate, width,
Yeah.
and height, so that's what they need, right?
No, that's not what I mean. So in the current at the current moment, as far as I
Oh, I
can
see.
tell,
So if you
we
hit a
are only
wall,
rendering the projectiles as if they have width and height.
Yeah, you add these as data because they do have width and height.
yeah,
Yeah, but if they do, wouldn't it make sense to like I'm more inclined because I have to calculate this all the time then. I have to calculate the hitbox range, the
yeah,
square or
for
the rectangle all
everything,
the
every
time.
frame.
I
Yes.
think I should we may consider adding the hitbox itself into the thing, into the type. So I don't have to calculate all the time. I just ask for it. Give me your hitbox.
Oh, you're gonna have to
You still
calculate
have
all
to
the time.
calculate the same exact thing, dude.
Yes.
The collision math is the same one that, like, you don't calculate the hitbox, you calculate the collision, and you would still have to do the same calculation.
I don't think you guys got what I meant. So right
Okay,
now,
what is a hitbox in terms of data? Give me the type of a hitbox.
as far as I can tell, you can map a hitbox using four numbers. I don't know if this is the syntax, by the way.
So
Probably
to make like a square.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
instead
then
of
you need to
updating
calculate
this,
these positions.
instead of updating this, you update this.
What is the difference?
The difference is that for me, I don't know. I don't feel that it's correct to have to calculate the hitbox at the time. I think in my mind it makes sense to the thing moves with the type itself.
Well,
Oh, you
to
are
start,
calculating.
that is. Go on, Magita, please.
But you are calculating. Like if you're moving all the time, you gotta okay, unless you do some well, you're still gonna have to calculate anyway, but
Yeah, I agree.
I think what you're saying is like something like keeping a width and a height right, for the box
Yeah.
for this element,
Yeah.
or it could be a prism, whatever, like a
Yeah.
polygon,
Yeah.
and then you just sum and maybe multiplier, I don't know, or divide depending on the coordinate, right, of the
Yeah.
position of the
Exactly.
center,
Yeah.
and then you get
Exactly.
the exact position of the hitbox.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I
that
thought.
that is also a calculation, but it seems more right than actually deriving these all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point of view is the first thing is it's like 4 coordinates, right? It will not be 4 numbers, but that's just a placeholder, I guess.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so every time something moves, you are going to update all those coordinates instead of just one.
Yeah. I would change this function.
So it starts by that, like you're updating too much stuff, in my opinion.
Sure.
And the other thing is, dude, when you want to do well, let's supposing I'm talking about the case in which you have your coordinate, like the starting point, you have width and height and shit, right? So when you want to do some calculation of hitting something, then you use those numbers, right,
Yeah.
to do the collision.
Yeah.
And what is the thing that you quote unquote derive there? What you derive is some of the coordinates that you will input in stuff. It's just summing some number plus the width or the height. That's the derivation you do. It's a sum, dude. Like, you see?
No, I'm not saying that the derivation is complicated or it is too. It's gonna take too much time or too much performance. I'm
Mm.
not saying that. I'm just saying that everything, as far as I can tell, orbits around the hitbox. So if that's the
Ah,
case, wouldn't it be more natural to just embed this into the modeling itself?
I'm not sure. But I
That's a
mean,
question.
I
I don't know.
also, yeah, I'm saying I'm not sure. But I mean, I also don't see plenty of stuff like bad about it. I just think it's unnecessarily more complex. But I think it's okay.
Okay, so let's go with the dumb approach first, and then later if we discover a major caveat of
Isn't
doing
every
in.
choice we pick dumb?
Huh? What?
Lemo said, "Oh, let's go with the dumb approach," and then I said, "Isn't every choice we pick dumb?"
No, there are different kinds of dumb. I guess
There are,
we know about that.
there are different shades of dumbness.
Yeah, that is the let's start simple, and that is the oh, we know that's dumb in any context. Like for example, the idea that we had there and never fixed it on the other project, dude.
No, but we will fix that.
That's what you say.
Okay, so it's gonna be width. So I'm adding to the projectiles as well because we just mentioned. So I think we're gonna have to create those constants as well. So
Hmm?
projectile width, I think we're using 5, and we also have um, projectile projectile height, and we're using 10 for that. And of course, this is just for now because later we're going to have multiple types of projectiles, right? We have the blue ball and stuff. There are also the orange ones. And the fact that they, oh man, it's gonna be fun to model that at some point. Projectile width, and then we're gonna have the height as projectile height as well. And I think that's it. Okay, so now everything have their width and their own thing there. So what we need to do, we need. Okay, so we are only doing like this just to be clear. We are only doing like this because we don't have a way, or we didn't think on a way, on how we can have both the spaceship and the enemies in the same thing. So we have to pick their members, right? The
No, no,
coordinates of the enemy.
no. We know a way, dude.
We know.
We know. Sure.
Okay, sure, go.
You give the coordinate of the thing you are and the what's the name? The projectiles like can be hitting you. That's it. So that's a hitbox and an array of projectiles, right?
Um, Actually,
Oh,
that's not what I
projectiles
meant.
hit
Yeah, but
boxes.
that's not what I meant when I said what I said. So what I meant
Hmm.
was, I guess this would be in Haskell definitely a type class. So we will have to define like is entity, and then one of the requirements of being an entity is that you have to have
How
width
do
and
we use
height.
in both? That's your question, type-wise?
Yeah, so then we don't have to have the three members here. We can just have one thing. Because the next one is the projectile, right? Next one is the projectile.
I mean, you have a hitbox, right?
Yeah,
You have projectiles, right?
yeah.
And for now, we only have one type of projectile. So that's literally your type. You receive something that is a hitbox and an array of projectile that works for both cases. The types are just okay.
No, yeah, you didn't get the question. So
Hmm.
do you see that you agree that both the spaceship and the enemy they have coordinates?
Oh, fuck, we are not going to the hitboxes, right?
Yeah, no, we are doing well. We can change our minds. I'm just saying that for now, because we just want to experiment before going with the
Oh,
hitbox approach.
but that's the same thing then. Instead of hitbox, it will be that. Coordinate, width, and height. Like, that's just well, just a replacement.
Yeah, but that's
The rest is the same.
well. I don't know how to ask differently. So let's continue with what I was saying then. Do you agree that both the spaceship and the enemy they have width
Yes.
and they have height as well, right?
Yes.
So like I was saying, I would make a type class that would say, to you to be an entity, you need to have these three. And then I would just put entity and then entity, and then that's it. This accomplishes both the spaceship and the enemies because both of them have current coordinates,
Well,
width,
if
and
you want,
height.
you can use inheritance, but
Oh, there is inheritance in here?
what?
I was not aware
What?
of that. Can you do that? Ah.
Well, I guess
Oh, that's really fancy.
I have subtype, right?
Uh, okay,
That's
that's
pretty fancy.
That's man, that's like JavaScript, so it is like OOP, right?
uh, well, I don't know which approach we should go with, but anyway, so let's calculate the thing. So I think we need to define the hitbox now, right? And this is gonna be four, four, no, not four coordinates because you already have the initial points. So we need to pick, we need to calculate the hitbox of the projectile first. We need to know where the projectile is. Then on 2D space in terms of its hitbox, and
Wait,
then we need to
the
do the same
math
with
part,
this.
folks. The math part. How do you calculate that? The if there is some overlapping between two spaces.
I have an idea.
Mm,
Yeah, I do have an idea. So the first thing I'm going to calculate the x interval. So x interval, and and then you do. Can I do pattern matching in the parameters?
yeah.
Cool. So it's going to be this. So I'm going to do I don't know xc and yc.
I was
Ah,
expecting to say it was so
yeah.
fancy.
I guess. Yeah, I was also. Yeah, but I don't think that's the way. I guess
No, but
that's the
I didn't
type.
show yet.
No, no,
Oh, you
no.
mean the
Pattern
parametric?
matching.
Yeah,
Oh.
the
Yeah,
opposite.
the structuring. So there's like that's the type, right? And it's probably something like equals after the type or before the type, probably after the type, and then you destruct the thing. I'm really not sure.
Okay, guys,
So let me
let's
take a
see.
look.
So pattern matching on function parameters typescript. Oh man, this is giving me vibes of the Go thing that Zozin showed. Imagine having that. Uh, so how do you pattern match on the arguments of the thing? Because I would
When you have
suspect that it is in
types, right?
here. Like instead of action and state, you do this like constructing.
It is an object. Oh, so take a look on the chat.
Take a look on the chat.
Yeah, see the second argument.
Oh, you'd use curly braces and shit.
Well, for an object, right?
Oh, for an object. We only have a tuple. How do you do that with tuples? I'm also testing. I'm almost testing these just to see. Even the color
Yeah,
is right,
that
dude.
yeah, that's the typo. But
Is that
how
how you
would
put
the
it?
annotations work, right? No idea, but that's that.
Yeah, but only one of them is colored correctly. Only the XC. So I'm inclined to say that this is not the how you do it.
Yeah, maybe you delete this type and annotate the type inside the tuple, right?
Oh,
Oh,
you.
especially because it is a tuple, so it would not be annotated that way.
So you just
Indeed.
mean doing number and then
Yeah,
number.
try something like that.
Okay. So how you would define the I would define the interval. I would do x this plus the width, right?
What is C, dude? You have XC,
Like
YC. What the
that.
fuck is C?
Okay, so this is the coordinate, the x coordinate of the top left corner, right?
Yeah,
So
so write something like bigger because I don't know.
Why don't you write that x coordinate?
Yeah, right.
sure, like that. And then
Let's
instead of
start
doing
applying clean
this,
code. What do you guys think?
what?
Hmm?
What do you guys think about us starting to apply clean code?
I don't know. You could go to something more enterprise, Magita. I heard you have a talent for that, dude.
Yes. I'm literally writing TypeScript Enterprise right now. If that's possible. Oh, dude, did you just a side comment here? Did you guys see what I sent talking about Enterprise? I recalled of IBM. Did you see the thing I sent on general?
I think I opened the link, but I didn't see the entire thing.
I'll read here in case not didn't see. So there's the TPC benchmark, right? I don't know if you know about this, but it's like
What
for
is
super.
TPC?
It's like a benchmark for supercomputers. So like
Oh,
a company like I don't know, HP, Holler Park, right? They make a huge supercomputer, and they want to test like the speed. And then there's like this battle between, well, before it was like Japanese supercomputers, like with NEC, and Americans. There were some Germans, I think, as well, but now it's basically just like USA and China. And then uh, if you go on the list, like they basically have a bunch of like problems they have to solve, right? And some of these problems they're like insanely large, like they're very big. And one of them in specific is like in a database. I think most of them are with a database, and it's a relational database. And then just look, dude. Uh, the benchmark for IBM's DB2, which is a database that nobody remembers. Like, if I tell you, tell me a database, like you will think of like Oracle, SQL Server, Postgres, SQLite, right?
MongoDB.
MySQL, no, like relational. Like you're not gonna think of IBM's DB2, although it's the oldest. It's from '83. And then like here's the thing. Blah 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 appears here. So in 2005, this is from 2005. Okay, so it's like quite old already. But look, at uh, DB2 was thinking 3.2 million transactions per minute. The system would be able to support one purchase from every person on the planet every 4 days in 2005. The next nearest contender of the TPC benchmarks is Oracle with less than half the performance. If all of that wasn't enough, the relational model started life at IBM, and that company has pioneered its development ever since. DB2 is world class, absolutely no question. And then there's a foreword that he mentions this, and the land registry is at 23 terabytes in 2005, dude. Like that is insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of data.
There are 89 billion rows in the DB, and that's insane. Anyway,
Uh,
just
Lemos,
closing the
uh,
parentheses.
do did you had like from somewhere some kind of formula for it, or that's just the
Yeah, that
normal
was
ad
literally
hoc
a
stuff?
dude. What?
Wait,
Hmm?
what was the question?
do you have some formula from somewhere to calculate the thing, or that's just the normal ad hoc stuff?
Second, like the letter, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is not correct though, because I still have to do the hitbox for the projectiles as well. This is just the top corner of it. So if the top corner of the projectile is between the x interval and uh, oh, but it can be in the interval, but it can have different heights, right? Yeah, so this is not enough. I need to do the entire thing in one go. And then it returns true, otherwise it's false. And then I need to do that for the all the hitbox of this guy, I guess. But that was just my like initial thought. Go on, Magit, Nathan.
Well, what do you mean? I don't have a thing.
Go on what? I don't
Oh,
know.
you don't have a thing? What do you mean?
No, it's just like you're
Well,
talking about. I just closed the parentheses. That's it.
And so,
Just because I'm living in a relational model. I know.
okay, so how would you do this, Nathan? You said you
ad
don't know,
hoc way,
but
you know, right?
yeah, no, but you
I would
describe to
spend
me.
time thinking about it, all the possible situations of the. Okay, well, I'll probably draw something, like the two squares and shit, and then see what's the Boolean logic to do it. Like, there is no quick cue about it, or I wouldn't be able to tell you right away.
Well, I mean, this thing that I did is only like I said for the top corner of the projectile, and like I said, I need to make the two things at the same time in order to be sure that it is in a square actually. So it needs to be this. Uh, yeah. So let me explain again. So if because these conditions, these two pairs of conditions, it's basically checking if you are in the two intervals, right? So let's suppose that the initial of the beginning of the enemy is in here, right? And then it goes all the way to the number one here, right? And then in terms of height, it does the same, right? So like this. So what I'm doing is this x coordinate is this 0, this x coordinate plus width is this 1, and the same applies for the y interval. So this is the first member of the tuple, and this is the second, right? And what I'm doing, I'm just grabbing the coordinates of the projectile. Like I said, we need to do this considering the hitbox of the projectile as well, which means that this is not enough what I did here, but this is just a sketch. And then what I do, I check if the projectile coordinates are within this interval here. But that's not enough.
Uh,
Why? Because the projectile can be here, right?
Lamos, let's talk about something simpler before that.
I don't think there's any way of doing this in a simpler way, but go.
No, no, no. Let's talk about simpler things, not
Oh,
doing this simpler.
oh, okay.
Uh, so the first thing is, sadly, we are not moving on some kind of grid, right? Like, we are dealing with floats and shit, right?
Mm, yeah.
Okay. And the other thing is, supposing I have like two coordinates here. I don't know how to explain that well. Let's suppose they are close to each other, right? What is the point I would say, oh, they are like hitting each other, right? So, for example, if they have some point in common, oh, I would love to draw to explain that shit. But suppose you have two identical squares close to each other, like one on
Yeah,
the
and they have an
left, one on the
intersection,
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and the line that they have on the edge, the right edge of the left one, and the left edge of the right one, they are the same line. So would that be a collision?
I guess so. I don't see why
Okay,
not.
okay. And then do we just need the function? Okay, I give you a point, I give you the coordinates, and then I give you the answer if it is in or out, right?
Yeah.
And with that, can't we just do that for all 4 points? Since we are dealing with all squares, that might work. That's pretty different if you have something that is not a square.
Wait, repeat the strategy again, please.
Yeah. So given that you had that function that I talked about, wouldn't be enough to just see if any of your points, of your 4 points of your hitbox is inside the other hitbox?
Yeah.
So why don't we do that first, like that function that checks the point inside the hitbox, and then like you can loop through all the 4 ones, right?
No, we can do that. Actually, I think that's the right way to do it, because what I did here is assuming that the projectile is only a point, is like in here. That's what this if is actually checking, if this x is actually inside these dimensions. That's what it's
So
doing.
can you do the point function? In the meanwhile, I can think if we have some caveats on that shit.
What do you mean by the point function?
Well, the is this point contained in this hitbox? Like checking the.
No, it is this function.
Oh, okay. You wrote the something for
I
a
just
point,
need to
right?
remove the projectile and put just coordinates in here. So point, right? So point, and then I say coordinates in here. And then instead of p whatever whatever there, I just do the point in here. So point 0 and then point 1, and that's it.
And then we rename it to
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like.
yeah. We need to is contained or something. Point contained. Is point contained. Yeah. So that's the way I thought on doing it.
So let's go back to create another was it.
Yeah, and we should remove this. So x, and this needs to be, yeah, x there, and then in here, sure. Okay, so let's create. It's gonna be pretty similar to this, I guess. So this will be is intersect, I guess, in which we're gonna receive the coordinates of the beginning of the first square, the width and the height of them, and then oh man, it's gonna the type
No,
signature
no,
is
wait, wait,
ugly as
wait,
fuck.
wait, wait. Why do we need that? What does that function do?
Isn't this the function that you just mentioned that we have two squares, well, two rectangles, and you're gonna see if one intersects with the other?
Uh, I guess you can abstract it if you want, but that's literally just a sum function. You get an array of coordinates of a hitbox of the spaceship, right? And then you run the sum function. See if one of these points returns true from each point contained in.
I'm still oh, so this is gonna be the function for the was hit thing. Was
Well,
hit.
yeah, we can abstract something on the way, but we need the was hit anyway, right?
Yeah. So I think that what you want to do, correct me if I'm wrong, what you want to do is to do a for loop then between the dimensions of this. Is that
Uh,
correct?
so each point contained, you get a hitbox and a coordinate, right? The point itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter on what we are talking about, but in this case, oh, it doesn't matter which direction we go, right?
It doesn't. It actually doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
oh, yeah. So doesn't matter, but let's suppose we are having the coordinates of the spaceship, then we loop through it with a sum and see if one of its coordinates are contained on the projectile, right? Or the
The
opposite.
opposite is far more natural to me. I don't know how to explain it, but
Sounds
it is.
better, right? No, makes sense, makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you will see if the bullet is inside you, not if you is. inside the bullet, right? Or something like that.
Oh man, it just happens that my body is in the same spatial space as the
I'm
bullet.
colliding with the bullet, not the other way around, right?
Yeah, it's my fault that I died, not yours that you triggered the bullet there.
You shot the bullet, man.
Okay, so current coordinates, and then we pick the first because that's what we're gonna use to iterate through, basically. And then so we have those things there. We have those things there. And we also gonna have to need the width and the weight. So we also gonna have the P or the projectile width. So we're gonna do P width there. And then we're also gonna have Magetta, you're alive?
Yes,
Okay. Just checking.
checking.
Okay, so now we need a for. How you do for loops?
Well, for
You don't
dude,
need the
you're going
for
to
loop.
search, dude. You can do
I don't
for
know the
each.
syntax. I don't know the
Oh,
syntax.
type dot for each.
Type for
uh,
each.
so what is your array of coordinates?
Oh, by the way, you don't have LSP enabled.
Oh,
Sure.
uh, uh,
Sure,
No,
sure, sure.
type a array and then do dot.
Type array and then do dot.
Yeah, an array. Like I don't know,
Oh,
make
yeah,
an
but just
array
a
and
sec.
then do
I
dot.
just noticed that we have two things with the same name here, so this is wrong. So let me think about that. So this is actually the point x coordinate. Okay, and this is the point y coordinate. And then we need to check if the x, not the x coordinate actually. So this is the point x, and again here. So how isn't this how you do? Oh, there's a extra parenthesis here. So point y, and then we're also gonna have to have the point y. Okay, now it seems to be correct. Then we're gonna have to discover why these things are complaining. But anyway, just go on. You said array.
wait
No,
one
no, dude.
second.
Literally an array, not the word array.
Oh,
Wait,
like
we need
this.
to do something before that, dude.
Go
I'm
No, no,
ahead.
just
no,
typing.
I just wanna show him, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just put like 1, 2, 3.
The is this separated by no? This is Lisp,
Yes,
right? So it's like this.
yes, and then
Okay.
do dot. Type for each. Yes, there, and then you
Mm.
pass a function.
Okay. Okay. Go, Nathan.
so you're not deriving the points from the. Wait, why do we have two coordinates?
Give me the line number, please.
7.
We have two coordinates because this is the coordinate of the spaceship.
Oh, fuck, I read that wrong. It's like, oh, sure, yeah. It's the x of one coordinate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have two
not a
pairs.
full coordinate with 2 points. Yeah. So the first thing is line 3 and 4 down. You have to derive uh, the other coordinates, right?
What do you mean by derive the other coordinates? Oh, you mean the
Uh,
ones that sum with this and this, right?
yes.
Yeah, but I was thinking about doing that. I don't know if there's a notation to that in here, right? I was thinking about doing x dot dot x plus whatever. You see,
No,
like
yeah,
to
yeah.
create
You
an
can do
array with
that.
that.
Yeah.
But how
Uh,
is that a thing? Can you do that?
Well, sure. You have elements inside separated by comma, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a computation. It's an expression, arbitrary expression.
Yeah, but what is the notation? Is it dot dot or three?
No, no, it's a comma, dude.
A comma.
Like that's what separates one element from the array from the other, right?
No, no, but I don't want two elements in here. I want
Well,
like in
you want
Haskell.
four.
No, I want how many I need, right? So I know that I want to
Sure.
start from point one, for instance. Let's suppose that the top left corner is one. And let's suppose that the width is 10, all right?
Ah,
So you're gonna do like that in Haskell, right? Because then I have 11 elements in here.
You want a range?
Yes. Okay. So that's the is that a thing in here?
Uh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think so. And why do you need that?
because then at each and every element that I'm going to receive from the for each will be exactly what I need to pass to the function is point contain.
To I have no idea about what you want to do.
Okay, so let's go
Um,
with your idea and see if I can explain better later.
okay.
So projectile width, yeah, like that. Okay, so LSP is crazy, but let's ignore that. So
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do now?
So the things are, you want to derive four coordinates, right? You have the one that you start with, the top left corner, right? And you have the other ones and shit.
Wait, do you plan to do the thing of intersection only using the four coordinates of each square?
Using. Wait, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so we have a projectile, we have a spaceship, which is a rectangle, right?
Yes.
And we also have a projectile, which is also a rectangle, right?
Yes.
Are you planning to calculate the collision only using the four corners of each rectangle?
Well, you only need the four of one of them, right? So
I don't
you
think you can.
can.
I don't think you can.
Well, you need
But
that to call is point contained.
no, but what I understood before what of the
Mhm.
idea was that we would iterate through all the points of this square using this function.
Well, they all, yeah, all points are 4 points.
No, then that's my misunderstanding because a square is not only 4 points. There's the content in the middle, right? This is something inside
No,
the spaceship, right?
no, but it doesn't matter if both are squares. Having one of those corners is the same as you hitting on the side because there is no way for you to hit on the side and not one of the corners of that side because all everything are squares. You see?
That's not true if tribes
Really?
that tilt.
With
Let's try this
what?
again. Um, so
Wait,
imagine that's
can
the
you just repeat the thing that you said? Something that tilt?
yeah, because I imagine a situation. Let's oh man, I need to draw that. Wait. Tilted
The question is
rectangle.
the question. Yeah, just because the sprite does that doesn't mean the hitbox does
Oh,
that.
so our hitbox will not follow the thing. They will be
They
fixed.
usually they usually
That's
they
I like the solution for Nathan.
they
Right.
usually don't, Lemus.
No, I played games in which they do, and that's more
Really?
fun. Yeah.
How do you even know that?
Well, wait,
Because
You
when I'm
usually
what?
moving,
don't.
because when I'm moving on a diagonal, my hitbox is following my diagonal.
You don't know that.
No, no, no. I'm telling you only based on my experience with the game. Right. I don't know
Oh,
the
Um, ah,
internal stuff.
I'll use Castlevania as because the sprites move, right? And the hitbox, I think it also moves along with
So
but it's
imagine that.
quite weird because it is like a box on a character that is moving, right? So I don't know because
Imagine
I,
that this yellow
it's
rectangle
basically
is a little
you are
bit upper,
allowing.
right? So
I
this
Yeah.
would
corner.
bet they usually are all a fucking square and the square just moves. It doesn't rotate it.
Okay, so Nathan's bet is that the square doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty much never.
Okay,
I
But
my idea is that this one is perfect. Let's
but
suppose.
here's the thing, folks.
no,
Like
no, I
even
know why it breaks on that example. I was assuming all squares always.
Oh, okay, okay. So we are on the
No,
same
but
page.
also, yeah, but also I'm mistaken on what I mean by square. I mean square in the same orientation, right? The tilted
Oh,
is still a square. I forgot
okay,
about.
okay.
isn't that a logs? What's the name? In
But
Portuguese is losango. What is the name of that?
Yeah, and this also is not a
I don't know.
square, right? Because
Even
a square needs to be equal on
Yeah,
four
it's a
sides.
rectangle. Every time we say squares,
Yeah,
everybody's
it's a
understanding as
rectangle.
rectangles. Right.
Yeah, that's it.
So Magetta was about to say something.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, we
No,
interrupted
no
you.
problem.
So anyway, so we're not gonna have tilted rectangles. Okay, so then using the four corners will work. Now we can
Oh
go on.
yes, I recalled. So one thing to consider is that I think we need to also make the because think of this, it's a shim up, right? So we gotta make the hitbox very generous because if we make like a bullet hell, it's unplayable.
Yeah, no, we
Uh,
need to be we need to be generous with the hitbox. I think only of the enemies though.
yeah, but here's the thing: it's okay to hit part of the sprite. If you look at Radiant Silvergun, like you
Oh, I
can,
know what you mean. I remember noticing that when the boss, the final blade of the
yeah, so you
boss.
can say like with the sprites overlapping, the problem is like the core of the spaceship cannot
Oh,
hit.
yeah, that's for most games, dude.
Yeah, I would say that
Not
games that
for
are
another.
hard, they usually do have that.
Why are you getting pregnancy tests?
Mm, that's concerning,
No,
Lemos.
Dr. Nekoma has. This is not my profile.
Well, maybe that's
Buddy.
even more concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see there? It's passing through the thing.
Dude, you notice if you notice like very clearly, if the spaceship goes like in close to another sprite, it there's like some how can I say some friction. Like do you see? I think like there's too much stuff for you to see this, but
I don't know what you mean by friction, but we
uh
can see the sprites overlap, but the
like for
hitbox don't.
instance,
Oh, really?
yes, dude. Like go on a video
That's
of the
very
first
detailed, dude.
level. Go on a speed run, Lemus. People do it on speed runs. I'm pretty sure. Reading
And
speed run, speed
I
run.
want to change from like smooth video instead of the text config
Oh
on
yeah,
Discord.
Yeah, that's a good call, but we're only gonna watch
yeah.
for
Just
like 30 seconds or so.
go on the first one. Like there, I know exactly a moment before the first boss. I think not on this. It's before Lemus. Reading on the first, because these are just projectiles, right? So yeah. So after this,
Nathan, Mageta even knows
yes, the position.
the
The exact
in which
moment.
boss they have
Yeah.
whatever he's talking about.
Oh, this guy's good, man. Yeah, but it's after this boss. Just advance a little bit. And I'd say he's already gonna kill you. Yeah. Okay, there. Now pay attention. There is like three things, and he's gonna go probably on the very close to them. What? What? No, dude. Oh, this is just the bosses, man. This is not the levels. The video clicked.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was confused. Okay,
Anyway, but
but
I understood. There's a attention to detail in the sense that it has some extra
yeah, but what
animations.
I mean, what you got what I meant, right? The hitbox only
Yeah.
matters in a very tiny space inside the sprite, not in like outside the sprite. So in that sense, it's very generous, right? So I think we can do that.
No, not important, but one detail. That's even the case for 3D games. That's not only 2D stuff. Your model and your hitbox are pretty different. Some games, like uh, I guess it's TF2. I don't remember the proper name of the
Team
game. Oh,
Fortress.
Team Fortress. Yeah. Uh, they even have fucking holes on the hitbox. You can literally hit someone and it doesn't really hit, you know? It doesn't count as a hit. They literally have a gap
Mhm.
in the character. That's pretty weird, dude.
Anyway, so going back to the discussion, so we're gonna use only non-tilted rectangles, which means that the strategy that Nathan was mentioning is enough. That is enough.
At least we think that, right?
Yeah, I couldn't see any flaws. That's what I meant. Anyway, so let's continue going. So you have a tuple here, right? A tuple with the two things. Actually, I'm gonna draw again here. So the first one is this, and the other one
That's
is this, right?
drawing.
Yeah, drawing on Emacs. So for each one of them, for each coordinate, so actually I'm gonna rename this to coordinate. What should we do, Nathan?
Wait a sec. Uh, yeah, so you see the thing that you are summing there? That needs to be a coordinate, right? So yeah, that's not what we are doing there.
I don't know what you mean.
Uh, you are using on the as the first element x projectile coordinate, and you are getting that from
Here?
uh b. Yeah, okay. So the first thing, this array is supposed to be the coordinates of the spaceship or whatever is being hit, right? I
Oh, okay,
guess.
sorry. Okay, so you're right. So what you mean is x
Wait, but
coordinate.
I'm not sure though. Which one did we decided on? Who is hitting who?
We had decided that the projectile is hitting the spaceship. That's
Oh,
what
so
we.
yeah, okay, so that's supposed to be the bullet one then, right?
Okay, so it was
Indeed.
correct then. Then okay.
Yeah, okay. So that's mm, mm, mm. So P is a projectile. Can you show me what a projectile is?
Sure.
Coordinates. What is coordinates? Now, I don't know why do we have the S there. Uh, but okay, so that's the top left corner, right? So let's go back
Yeah.
there on our function. So, okay, that the P, well, the P dot current coordinates, that will be one of the elements of that array,
Which it
not
already
a
is.
specific.
Sure.
No, it is not.
It
That's
is.
the X of it. You
Oh, you
see?
want the full coordinates to be in here?
Yes. And then I want three more full coordinates that we will derive.
Okay, so the all the coordinates that we have both for both are in here.
Yeah.
Both are in here.
So
So
the others we just derive, right?
what do you mean by the others? What are the others? Please help me.
Well, that's the top left corner, right?
This is the top
We
left
have
corner.
three. We have three more to describe.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I think we should get names for those then.
Wait, do
So
we need all the four of those?
I don't know. It's your strategy at the moment. So left corner, we're
Let
gonna
me think.
do corner. So P current coordinates. That's it.
I think. Mm,
We
isn't
only need
there?
two, don't
Yeah, because you just need the position, right, of the thing, and then addition, right,
we?
for
You
each
only need
direction.
two opposing coordinates in the rectangle, I guess. Is that spaghetti?
Mm,
Like, think
wait.
the following.
Mm.
Let's suppose I have the top left corner and I have the bottom right corner.
Yeah, you can draw. If it's symmetrical, yeah.
So, like,
Actually,
it
you don't
shouldn't.
even need that, right?
Uh,
you just need the
no,
central point and the height with it, and then you can calculate from that.
no, no. But
Oh,
like,
that is assuming that we have the central coordinate as the main focus, right? But we
Yes.
have the top
no,
left.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter at all. Like, because what we need are to check if points are inside the box, right? So we
Yeah,
want to
you
get
need to make a box. That's what it's saying.
yes, sure.
Yeah, both ways
And
you can do a box.
no, no, yeah, but the point is not about how to make a box. But given that we have the points of a box, how many do we need to check collision?
Yeah,
I'm
so
guessing we only need two.
yeah, but let me help. Let me try to help Mageta. So Mageta, what you said is correct. You can make a rectangle with both ways. But what I think Nathan is saying is that we don't actually need to make the rectangles to check the collisions of two rectangles. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
because
so
our
you
goal is
want?
to just see the intersection. Is there an intersection between two rectangles? Nathan is saying that you only need 2 points of each rectangle, as far as I can
Let's
tell.
see. So one, you can basically do the greater than y, right? Unless, oh, sorry, greater than x. Think of like x, y.
Yeah.
So you need to do greater than x of the first one and lower than y of the first one, and then the opposite on the other one, right? Because that's gonna be the the any point inside of it.
Yeah, I don't know the arithmetics, but that's I want to know. I want to see if Nathan trying to explain
Wait,
to me because I'm a little bit
I
confused.
got it. That like yeah, I think that's it. Because think of this, like the top position, what goes inside from this, from the
Wait,
point
let's draw
from the
that
top
though.
left.
So
Yeah.
let's pick, I don't know, a rectangle with, oops.
if you are talking about the how to check if a point is contained, that's not what I'm talking about. That Lemus already wrote there. I'm talking about the way we get this point is okay. I have the hitbox of the bullet, and it is formed of 4 points. I will get each one of them and check if they are inside the spaceship. What I'm saying is also that we might only need 2 points of the bullet to see if the bullet is inside
Yeah, what I'm
the
saying is how
spaceship.
to check if the thing is inside, if there is an
Oh,
intersection.
yeah, it is interesting for you to take a look on the thing that Lemos wrote to check and align the thing that you are thinking.
Yeah, so what I did, right, because we plan, because this is going to be, this function is basically the function that will do what we are talking. So we have two rectangles. One is a spaceship or the enemy, and the other one is the projectile. We want to know if they collide. That's it. And then, in order to do that, I made a separate function, which does the
Oh, that it
same.
made.
Sorry?
Um, wait, and then you go checking each point. Yeah, but what I my okay, but then you're doing for both, right? In this
And
way,
yeah,
aren't
yeah, I'm
you?
doing for both. We are doing in this way. This is like these
Because
three
what I was gonna
things.
say is like math. You can basically just pick. Well, you're still gonna have to iterate over the points of the other thing.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I think
Oh,
it's
actually, no, you don't, dude. Okay, we don't even need to. We just need to do a simple calculation, like geometry. Man, we don't even need to iterate the points. That's so cool.
no. You mean
We
the
just-
points? You mean the internal content of the rectangle?
Yeah, we don't. We just need to sum. Okay, let me show the thing no collision on the first one. Can you go to the table there? The line 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you delete this second point on the first row? The
The
X,
second
second X.
point, the second X in here, this
Yes,
corner.
delete this. Yes. Put 0 and put 0 on the first one of the last one. So you just have these two dots, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then how can you make the rectangle? Well, it's always going to be like pointed like this, right? So you basically just say is the coordinate of the other one. Think there are two of these, okay? So is the coordinate of the other one less?
Let's
Each one
suppose
of
that
these
it's
is
in. Let's
xy.
suppose that it's like this,
Well, okay.
and then, oops. Let's suppose that the other
Yeah,
rectangle,
we use another letter, right? But that's fine.
an
Oh, I
X.
think I know what you're talking about, Mageta.
Yeah,
Because
that,
the
like that.
points that are oh, that's a nice drawing.
Okay.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
That's a nice
Okay.
story. Only us three can understand.
Mageta,
Mhm.
let me try to explain, and then you correct or
Okay, but just
say
one
if
thing.
that's
Remove
the
the
thing.
second X, Lemus, on the first row of the second block, and the first one as well. Like there are only two, right?
But we can no, we can have all four of them.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
we
but
want to
you don't
define
need
is
to.
which ones. What is the minimum that we need?
Yeah, but you don't need. That's true. Okay, go on, Nathan.
So okay. Um, by the way, that is drawn there. It's a third topic, I guess. But okay, what I think Mageta is talking about is given that you have a square and a point, this square also only needs 2 points. And wait, yeah, let me go with that. But I guess I forgot about something else that is important. So, given that the ones that are lacking, the points that are lacking, they are literally the combination of the ones that are in. You just get one of the axis of one and one of the axis of the
Yes,
other, and that gives the thing. Then you
yes,
can also just do the math simply,
yes.
right?
So you can. So for example, this the first X of the second thing. Can you change the second X to like Y? That's easier. Yeah. Okay. So So okay, you want to see that the xy of the y is inside the. Okay, we cannot pick like the letter, right? But anyway, you got the idea. So each one of these has an xy. So how can you know if that is intersecting? Well, it is you do a check saying if you pick the first and then you say, is this uh x is like the right and y is the height, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So uh so it's the plane and height. That's what I mean. So you would say, okay, x is it going to the uh is it greater than this thing and smaller than the x of the ending thing, which is the second x there?
Mm-hmm.
And then the y is the same thing, but on the opposite direction, because you're basically gonna say, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is it lower than this x and
Mm.
greater than the bottom x? Or sorry,
Oh,
the
I
bottom
see.
y.
I see. I
And then
see. I
you just
see.
have this area that you know, okay, if it is inside this boundary, you collided.
Mageta, that's pretty freaking crazy, dude. Because what I was basically saying was, uh, on the bullet side, we only need 2 points. And what you are saying is, on the spaceship side, you also only need two
Yes,
points, dude.
yes. And dude,
Oh,
think of this.
boy.
This is so cheap now to because okay, you're gonna have to do these calculations all the time, but it's cheap. It's not like iterating over the points and checking it by dot.
It's just, instead of calculating those things on the hitbox, you calculate those on the actual last computation
Mm.
that Lemus did on the is pointed contained. You are delaying the thing.
Okay, so as far as I understood, we just need to make these four coordinates and then do
This
the
could be the
comparison.
image of the string.
Sorry?
Hmm?
This could be the picture of the string today.
That drawing, right?
This.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, but that is something that this draw doesn't necessarily say to us, right?
Mm.
But on the code, we have it. It is the abstraction of we are not caring about two square colliding. We are only complaining about the is point contained problem, right? And then we go to 2 points,
Yeah.
right? The image looks more complicated than the code is.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yes.
agree. Okay, so oh boy. Okay, so we need to make these 4 points with
So
the
that's so
thing here.
fucking easy. You see the second element of the array that you have?
Yeah.
That's wait, wait. Yeah, yeah. You just get the other point, right? The bottom right one. You just like do it.
At bottom right corner. You don't need to do that for both of them. All the spaceship and the projectile, as far as I understood.
Well, you will do for the projectile for it to be inside the array, right? And with that, I guess you already have everything you have to call the is point contained. Inside this point contained, you can implement Mageta's idea. That is, instead of uh, doing all
But
of
Mageta's ideas is this if, dude.
wait, we are
Um,
receiving two
point
coordinates. That
coordinates.
is the point, and we are receiving. Oh wait.
Point
Uh,
coordinate x and the
X interval.
I
point
think it's you
coordinate.
can make we can make it easier, but as far as I understand, what he said in the mathematical way of this to be contained in this square, you do the this is greater than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
but wait, the interval. I don't think you need that plus and what?
oh yeah
Oh,
you
I see. Yeah, I see
yeah
what you're doing there.
I see what you mean. I can make this simpler. I can definitely do
Yeah,
that.
it's slightly different, but yeah, it's the same idea.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then we just pick those, and then we do. Oops.
So we are using X, Y, right? So
Oh, by the
Entity.
way, how we're calculating this? Because I think we start on 0, 0, right? And then we go like down, but it's going up.
Yeah,
So
we're
I
gonna
do
have
that.
yeah, we
to
have to.
also verify that after.
Like care
But
about the Y,
dude,
right?
why don't people use normal coordinates on the first quadrant, and then you go increasing?
Because they
I
don't see the thing as a graph, they see as a matrix.
Yes, but you can just invert the matrix.
Yeah, but that's not how. Then that's an inverted matrix. That's not a matrix.
Well, it is, but
Okay, so this is the entity up left. Cool. And then we're just gonna do that.
mhm.
No, 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 not that. And
entity.
cursors.
It sounds like a game dev already, Magita.
Yes, the dilemmas is
Current. Yeah. Okay, so now we
Lemons
have the
could
we
be
have the corners. We have the corners.
Lemons could be a Lisp game dev.
So let's see. Point up left corner. That's just the coordinates, right, of the
Yeah.
entity. And point bottom right corner. That's well, the first one is the X, right? So you just add the with it. The second one, that's the tricky one.
Is
Do
that a
we need
plus?
to
Is that a
add or to
minus?
subtract? Yeah, yeah, exactly,
I think it's a plus though.
exactly.
I think it's a plus because as far as I can tell, the way that it works is that this is 0, 0, exactly as matrices. So then you do x plus width to go to here, and then you do that y plus height to go to here.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. Uh,
Uh, yeah. So now that we have that, we just need to do ifs, right?
wait, what the fuck is current, dude?
Current is the current of the entity, right? That's the name I'm using for the other ones,
Oh,
as far as I
yeah,
can tell.
I didn't saw the name of the argument. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So now what we need to do? We need to do ifs, as far as I remember. Is that correct?
Uh, what? No, no, you already had the code there. Just you can just Control Z, like you had the code.
Oh, you mean the for each?
Yeah, it's not a for each, but now that's an array of like both, right?
We're
Like,
gonna do the things of the point. So it's gonna be up, point up
yeah,
left corner, and we also gonna have the point bottom right corner.
yeah. And
Right.
instead of for each, you can use a sum.
A sum.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, the same as in Haskell, I guess. No,
You're
no,
gonna
sum,
oh,
like
sum.
this. Yeah.
Okay. So what is this?
Well, the same in Haskell. If one of those things are true, then the whole thing is true.
I don't think in Haskell this is how that this works, but okay,
Isn't
fair.
it any in Haskell?
Hmm?
Repeat.
Isn't it any?
Yeah, I think it's any.
Something like it.
So what
Well,
is
but
the how are we going to use this sum then? Do we need to pass a function in here?
yes.
Okay.
Is the any passive function or just checking if they are the booleans inside?
I
It
think
goes.
that
Oh, sorry,
okay.
go on.
No, I think that any for booleans they for the monoid stuff they're just gonna do what you said, but the any that Mageta is talking about needs a function as well.
Okay. So that does receive the point, right? And
Okay,
then we call it is point contain.
so let's call this already because we're gonna have to calculate. Oh, we're gonna send a point there.
No, no,
Okay,
no,
so
no.
it's
Yeah.
completely fine. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now what we do?
You can simplify this a lot, but well, not a lot, but you just call this point contain inside there. That's it.
Okay, so the is point contain, we're gonna put that inside the. Which coordinates we're gonna pass to this function, by the way?
Well, that's the point, right?
No, that's the last one. The point comes after.
Oh, sure. So the first one is the
I may have a
yeah,
feeling that this function does not work well for what Mageta described.
but we can change it. But
Yeah,
the
that's not a
things it
problem.
takes, it's the same, I guess.
Okay, the things it
So
takes is gonna take which one? This is gonna have to be entity one, I think.
yeah.
So
So the art is not okay. It's only established by the name point, right? As the last
yeah.
argument. So yeah, the entity.
And
We
then we
don't need.
also gonna need the width, height, and the
Uh,
point.
yeah, that's the thing. What interface do you guys think it's the best? Like passing like this width and corner, or passing the thing that Lemos calculated already, like two up?
Oh, you mean passing the two coordinates that these two x's, right?
Yeah, like
I think it's better to pass the two x's, dude.
yeah. So let's delete the width and height, right? Especially because you already like, calculated there.
Okay, so let's remove this. I think you're gonna have to let's redo this function to the way that Magetta said. I think it's gonna be a lot easier. So we're gonna have the up left corner. This is gonna be coordinates, and you're also gonna have the right bottom.
Oh, that's so fucking much easier to read, dude.
Bottom right corner, right? And then we need to do the thing that Magetta said. The first thing that we need to do actually is to unwrap those. So let's do that. So let x up left corner and then up left corner 0, and it's exactly the same for y, just changing this. Oops. Uh,
I don't even know why we are using. I'm not sure.
using what?
Like why we are using tuples instead of objects, because you can do up left corner dot x or dot y. Then you don't even need a different variable, right?
Sure.
And you don't have to use the indexes.
Yeah, I must admit that I don't like the indexes. It reminds me, that's one of the few things that pisses me off in Rust as well. So, okay, so now we need the math. We need the math. We need Magetta. Magetta, please.
Oh, I told you, man. It is.
I told you,
Okay,
man.
just remember. Just remember. You know that there is like a Plato. I think it was Plato. I don't recall because like before there was this tradition to memorize stuff, right? So like I don't think it was Plato. Like some old Greek dude. He basically said that people would get dumber because they would stop trying to like remember stuff and just like write in books. That was
What
funny.
the fuck?
Sure.
Yes, based
What
opinion, dude.
the
Based
what
opinion.
the fuck, man?
Okay,
Based
so
opinion.
this
That's such a weird take,
is
Maggot, from this dude.
x point
Yes,
greater
based opinion.
than.
Don't you think that people get dumber because they write stuff?
Well, if they don't, that's much worse. That I know for sure.
I agree that it's much worse if you don't type it, write it down. X point less equal to x bottom right corner.
Uh,
But dude, like you gotta think that on the context, like memorizing stuff just became like being shunned. Like very recently, like for example, in the medieval era,
Y
if you were
point.
like a copyist monk, you would basically memorize the book, because if you lost the wrecking book, then you're screwed. And like people can forge copies and do all that kind of stuff.
it doesn't matter how Chad this guy is. He knows that humans are just not reliable, dude. So
Y bottom right corner.
So let's see.
Done.
So
Let's
x
check it.
point is greater or equals to the upper left corner. What is the up left corner? Okay, that's from the second thing,
Yeah.
right?
No, no. The up left is the this. Like the x. This x is this. This. This other x is this. And this
Is the
entire
point.
square is this.
Okay. And so you
uh
want to see if the point is greater or equal to the x. Isn't it easier to do the opposite? Like just to read at least?
Well, I can try to explain and then you can just see if it makes sense. So the x point is the coordinate of
Y. It's the y there.
yeah. Yeah, it is this y, exactly.
So you gotta see if it
If the
is
x part of it is greater or equal to the x part of this guy. This guy.
if the x of it is
This
greater or
or
equal.
of the x part of this guy. Does that
Not
make
only
sense?
greater, right? It
Greater or equal? I said and wait, and then there's
okay, yeah.
an end here.
And within the boundaries of the left. Okay, I see.
Yeah, and then the same thing applies for the y thing. It's basically the same. So you check if the y of this is greater
Wait,
Um,
than
the
the y of
Y
this, and it's
Lemons.
smaller than
wait,
the y of this.
isn't the Y the opposite? Let me see.
Just go on, Nathan.
In this case, the comparison operators they have higher precedence than the ands, right? So you don't need any of those parentheses. So
Oh, never
if
mind.
you
I forgot that we're thinking of a matrix, right? So it starts on 0, 0. Okay,
Exactly.
never mind.
Remember that.
Yeah, this is confusing.
Okay, but I think that's it. I think that works. Could not find bool. So is this how you do booleans? Is that bool like this?
Boolean, Boolean.
Oh, boolean. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that works. And then we can just pass the entity and the projectile, right? So point.
wait for
Uh,
conditions, are you guys sure that's everything we need?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's what I. That's what I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Fuck. yeah, my
Come
dude.
on.
No, no, no. It is for real. It is for real.
Okay.
And then this is entity. This is entity bottom
The
right.
confidence of lemons is crushing.
And that's it,
The
right?
what?
As far as I can tell.
Crushing.
Why do we have a red thing there?
Because
Yeah.
this LSP takes ages to update.
What?
Oh wait, that's in an array of numbers.
Yes.
And we want a tuple, I guess.
Wait, I'm confused. Can you repeat?
Yeah. If you rover that thing, that says an array of numbers. That's the wrong type.
I agree. But isn't this a constructor of tuples? I forgot then. How you
Yeah,
construct tuples? Yeah, it's
they are
like.
the same. Yeah, yeah, I guess you need some type annotation
no,
on the
I
thing.
just believe me on this one. I really believe it's just a matter of LSP being taking ages.
Okay,
But I
let's try.
just gotta think of something like why bother make a type system where you don't have a distinction between integers and floats and all the rest? Instead, you just make number.
Wow, I guess they have many reasons for it. I'm not sure if I can think in one right now.
Probably JavaScript, but man, JavaScript has integers and floats.
No,
Like
no,
you
it
can
doesn't. It only has floats, double float points.
wait.
It
There
has
is a
big
parse.
integer.
Wait, there is a function parse int. Does that thing
It
spit a
it
float?
doesn't matter. You don't have ints or floats. You only have a thing called number. You see, and it is a double floating point. It is called parse int because you will try to parse an int, but it is stored as a double float point.
Oh, oh, that's no, dude. No,
Yeah,
that's cursed.
it is.
Oh, p instead of point.
Yeah, it's P. No, it's not P actually because this is coordinates. So this is actually P current coordinates.
Oh, okay.
Come on, like floats are bad. Like floats are
Yeah,
really
point.
bad.
This
Like
is
I
point.
really
I'm
hate them.
confused. Got confused. Okay, so
Imagine,
let's.
imagine doing comparison like everywhere, and
Yeah, but
everything's a
people.
float.
But that's the thing. People complain. People don't know what they want to complain because first they complain that oh my god you're comparing floats. That's bad. And then when they go to Rust and Rust doesn't allow you to compare floats, they say
And
oh
then
my
people
god
compare.
Rust is so
Yeah.
annoying. I want to compare floats. Like
Uh,
people decide.
No, no, wait. First thing, I'm talking about floats in general, not about comparing everything about them. I don't want fucking floats, dude, in my language. Uh, and the thing is, because it is a reasonable default, you'll be able to comparing. Sure, it does bring strange results in
Just think about this. If
lesser cases.
computers were made by French people, we wouldn't have floats. They would be just fractions everywhere. That would be
Oh, I
amazing.
will. Yeah, that would be nice. Well, I guess I didn't use Lisp for some other crazy thing that does that. I guess the fancy languages do, right? Not
Wait, which one?
sure. Fancy ones, like Agda and shit.
Oh yeah. I think. Wait, how does Haskell handle faults? There is a rational, right? Which is two
Yeah.
parts, I think.
Yeah, actually, there's like there's floating, there's fractional, there's in my Emacs, don't die, please. Yeah, okay. Then there's real.
Which
Yeah.
one are not type classes? This?
There's real as well, and there's rational as well. So there's rational. Yeah. And
You know,
there's something that goes above real that I think it's called scientific.
Holy.
Uh,
units of measure in F sharp, Nata.
What?
You know units of measure.
Yeah, yeah.
I think. I think that there is a fraction unit of measure for F sharp. I think I might be
But
totally wrong.
that doesn't say shit.
Well, it does. The
that
representation of the
doesn't
thing
say shit.
is a
No,
fraction.
that's just a marker on the type system. It's not the actual data. But I guess you have a decimal in .NET.
No, you do have a decimal.
Uh, semicolon probably maybe projectile
Yeah,
height.
it doesn't store. It's just another representation. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
you can make your structure, right? But
okay. Cannot find name projectile width. So probably I type it wrong. Yeah.
I don't know how to write them. What the heck, man?
Next. Okay, so now it is saying that property current coordinates do not exist. What are you talking
And type
about?
number. What?
Oh,
It's a
it is.
number
No, it
array.
is my confusion again. It is my confusion. This is not a point. This is only a tuple. This is the point. My confusion. Okay, it compiles. It interprets. I don't know how you say that. Emacs, are you done? Emacs, are you done? I think my Emacs is done, boys.
But it's not Emacs, man. It is the LSP.
Shitty LSP. Okay, it works.
But there's
Um,
nothing to infer of. It's better than the F sharp LSP. I'm gonna say this.
wait, I just noticed a thing. I just noticed a thing. We are
Hmm?
not using the point.
Mhm. Yes.
Wait, why do we have a no? What the fuck is that?
Oh wait, what?
What the fuck?
Wasn't that because?
Return the result of this function call, dude.
Yes. Oh, I see. That's because you were first doing the like mapping for every point, right?
Yeah.
What? I have no idea what is this, but I don't want to see this anymore. Delete this shit, dude. What the
I
fuck?
don't want to see this anymore.
I love the hatred.
Oh
Like,
no,
that's
this
like
is
the
this is
highest level of
point.
shit.
This is point then. Is that correct? Am I dumb? Maybe I'm dumb.
No,
I
that's point,
I'm
isn't it?
confused. I don't know what is P. I don't know what is point.
No,
Oh,
P is a
wait.
projectile, dude.
Yeah,
Ignore
he
P
said it
for now.
right.
We already used P to do the calculations. It only
Yeah,
serves
it's
this
because
purpose.
that's because you don't write the fucking name. That's
Yes, dude.
why it's
Like,
confusing.
Okay, then I'm not gonna hurt Mageta saying ABC anymore, okay? Okay, so no more ABC. Done.
this is just an example. It's not.
We can say XYZ if you want.
XYZ. Anyway. So then the question is, why is this complaining? Argument of type number this. So what's the type
That's
of
a,
this? Okay, so this
that's
is
a
this is
good
not
point.
the correct function.
What do you mean?
So it
It's
receives.
because it is taking. Oh, fucking makes sense. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Uh, Indeed, we want an array for the sum, right? But what it is inside needs to be a tuple. So the types are wrong somewhere. You
What
can
is
either turn the
inside?
flag "Trust me, bro." Well, each of the "Trust me, bro" flag. Uh, so what I'm saying is point up left corner and the other one that is too long to pronounce. They are tuples, right? It is inferring as arrays, I guess. So
No, but
point.
that doesn't make sense. The type signature of each point contained receives. It is even
Let
saying
me
here.
let me give you the explanation. It
Okay,
is a
go.
bad type system, dude.
That is actually.
It is good enough to you. That's your explanation. You need a notation somewhere.
Okay, so let's put it in here. Are you fine now? No. It's not assignment to parameter. It wants this thing to be a list of numbers, dude.
Where are you creating those? You can annotate there, right?
Creating which ones, you mean?
Well, point up left corner, the first thing that you do in the function, yes. Oh, dude.
I think it works now. Okay. Okay, so what
You
was I
know you
talking?
still have the answer bullshit, right?
No, but that's all I want to ask you. How you would handle this? I just did this as a
Oh, yeah, the sum returns the yes or no, well, the true or false.
Oh, it does. Cool.
No, no, return that shit, man. Why are you storing that?
Oops.
By the way, how has been your experience with Rust not being really expression based? Any really big annoyance so far?
So I don't have that much of experience yet. I need to upgrade my tool.
Oh,
But
I'm sure it was enough to note something like really bad.
uh, the I really don't like I think the module system is actually maybe a
No,
slightly worse than
only about the.
Haskell's.
Okay, so is it still pretty fucking bad? But what I'm asking is only about the expression based stuff.
Again, that's hard to say because until this point I don't have very nested dot stuff like dot and something something dot something something dot. I don't have that type that thing yet. So
No, no.
for it
Okay,
has been fine.
let me ask more precisely. So the fact that it uses statements instead of one expression for the whole body of the function, and you have really returns and shit. Did you ever got some code that is hard to read because of early returns or something that you expect not having in Haskell?
Well, I would say that when I did, because as far as I can tell, it's a pretty common. Well, I don't know if it's a pretty common, but it is something that appears in documentations and stuff, that you have a thing in Rust called loop. That you it is basically a loop that expects you to have a break.
Mhm. It does return a value, right? Can you return from that?
I don't know. What I know is that the
Pretty
solution of the problem
sure.
that I was doing actually the way that I was modeling the thing required this sort of trick of using the infinite loop stuff and having a break or a return in the middle. And it took me a long time to accept that reality because I really don't like having infinite loops that you break in the middle. So it
Oh,
took me a
dude.
while to say, okay, I don't have a choice. I need to make this happen. Uh, but yeah, but aside from that, it's been great. I'm really okay with the libraries that I've been using so far. So we can talk more about that after the session. So now we have a function for the was hit. Isn't that just a matter of iterating through the projectiles now and the enemies and the spaceship?
Yep.
Sure. So
Good luck.
what is the best way of doing that?
It's just a filter, dude. That is no good luck about it, man.
Just the filter.
Yeah,
A
Nathan
filter.
wants to filter using the was hit function because if you were hit, we're gonna remove
Oh,
you.
I see. Mm-hmm.
That's what he
Wow,
means.
that's like what you said, right? If you want to just lower some HP, then that's a math.
If you want to decrease your HP, that's math.
No, just as good as filter, right? Well, not really. I like to delete stuff, so filter is better.
Okay, so how are we gonna make that happen then? Because we have three different things happening, right? And they have different types. We have projectiles, we have enemies, and we have the spaceship. How are we gonna do a filter on all of them at once? I was thinking
So you
about making
have
a function for that.
you have the get next state, right?
Yeah,
Well, what is it called actually?
I don't remember anymore. Update. Oh, this is update the key press thing. Do we have an update of the state? Oh, we don't.
I
It's
hope.
all in the main function.
Oh shit. Well, somewhere there you do those things and you can extract into functions, right?
Sure. So let's say, let's say that. Ah man, yeah, I'm gonna make a function for this. I'm not gonna make it in here. It's gonna be so bad. So update. I don't know. Presence. I'm gonna receive the game state. So the game state, which has a type game. I'm gonna return the other game. So game as well. And what we need to do with that, we need to call the function once hit with both the spaceship, so spaceship. We need to grab it, and I already forgot the name, which is player. So let's grab the player. We also need the enemies, so let's do that. So g
Ugh.
enemies, and we also need the
Dude, that's.
projectiles, and so this is gonna be
Oh wait, the wrong thing.
projectiles. Yeah. Okay. Now we need to call the function. Uh, we need to do another for each, I guess. So projectiles for each. So projectile. For each one of them, we need to check all the enemies and the spaceship.
Dude, we don't need a for each, right? We are using mutable shit.
You're using what shit?
Immutable.
Immutable. Okay, so how we will
So
do that?
you are just mapping the game state, right? So you return the game state, everything it was, except the things we want to change. And the things we want to change, we just filter it or map it, like whatever.
You just want to filter or map it.
Oh, there is something tricky about it. Maybe you want a fold because
Yeah, fold was the.
at the same time you remove the enemies, you also have to remove the projectiles, right? Huh,
I
that's
don't.
interesting.
Not necessarily. How does that work in a Radiant? Does the projectile disappears when it hits the enemy, or it penetrates the entire thing?
It would
Depends
be too
on the
OP.
projectile, but in general they disappear.
Okay.
It could be very OP if it goes through the.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's I actually like okay, never mind. So none of them go through, but some of them go through walls, for example.
No. Yeah, but that we're gonna make it walls a different thing. They are not enemies. They are
Yeah.
not the spaceship. So I think we are fine.
Yeah,
Um,
for now that's fine.
yeah, I think it's fine. So Nathan suggested to use a map and actually I think the fold is the better one, right?
I guess because we want to remove the projectiles, right?
We want to remove the projectiles. So we're gonna do a fold throughout the projectiles, right? So do you know the library that does that? Do we have that in the FP thing?
I don't even know a good way to do those things.
Fold in TypeScript. Do you know, Magete?
You have
What
fold normally, man.
to the
Well,
fold?
it's
Oh,
called
yeah, we have
reduce.
on the library, dude.
You know, that's what I'm
The
asking. The FP
yeah, go there.
FPTS.
Wait, what would be the difference? It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean, Nanta?
You have a fold in TypeScript, in JavaScript.
Okay, like you're saying, like which kind of
Reduce.
it? Yeah.
Unless you are using some other kind of data structure from the library, then you don't need that shit.
So you're using arrays, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Folding.
as Nanta said,
So
Reduce, right? What is the difference from the normal one?
probably none.
executes the supplied iterating function on each
That's
element of the
really
array
weird.
and the return value from the calculation of the preceding. Sure.
Oh, probably have some. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. So the way that it works is basically calling reduce.
I
Um, okay, let's try
don't
that.
know what. I have no idea how would be the difference, dude.
Yes.
What is this
But
5 doing here?
I think it's the initial element, isn't it?
I
Let's see.
can't
So
read this,
B.
so
oh, the difference is that is an actual function, not a method. That's probably it.
Oh yes, yes, it's an actual function.
Oh,
Okay, so it's B. So it's a B, and then you send a B and a function that picks a B and
oh,
A.
I see, I see, I
that's only
B
see.
is the
useful if you are
accumulator, actually.
using currying and stuff, and it supports that. Otherwise, doesn't
B is the
make much.
accumulator, right?
Yeah, so this is the accumulator as you said, this is the function, and then you apply the container. Sure, let's try that.
So you prefer that than dot container something?
Yeah,
Sure.
because you're already using the library for other stuff. So this is fp array reduce. The initial thing is the game. Um, the initial thing is the game.
Which is not G. It's game state.
Is that like it's gonna be something like this, I guess. Um,
Game
game
state.
state. We're gonna have to make this function very fancy, and the container will be game state dot projectiles. I think. I think we
Oh,
also need
dude.
parentheses.
Um. mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
That is something that we have to consider, man. Ah, that sucks. Uh,
Okay, so
so the way we would do, go to
accumulator.
the projectiles and like for given projectile, I would like check the uh, the like
Nathan sounds defeated right now.
Yeah, it sounds
yeah,
totally
kinda.
defeated.
Uh, so for each one of the projectiles, you would check if it's hitting you or one of the things. So you see that we have no difference on our projectiles and the enemy's projectiles. And in that case, I can hit myself, literally shooting something
No,
and
no, no.
going to
But
that.
I was aware of that.
Mm.
I was aware of that. We don't have a way to differentiate between your projectiles, so you can kill yourself. So you need to be a skilled player to play our game. That's the conclusion.
That's a shitty solution, then. Well, actually, that's a non-solution.
It's like CS:GO, you know. You need to be good
Wait,
at
do you
it.
have friendly fire in CSGO?
Yes, of course.
Not of course, dude. Not
Yeah.
at all.
No, you do.
Yeah, and what about the other mainstream games that don't have that?
Well, then they are called less hardcore for a reason. Right.
Well, then it's not of course that CSGO has.
No, no, no. I said of course because it is a very, as far as I can tell, maybe I'm saying BS, but as far as I can tell, it's a very well-known feature of CS:GO.
Oh, okay, okay, I see.
Like even from the ancient days.
Ancient days.
Wait, even like 1.6 stuff?
Yeah,
I don't
No
remember.
way, really?
yeah. I remember playing the 1.6 version of that.
Holy shit.
I remember the guys playing this at school, like literally like the teacher in the lab, like
Who's the
watching everybody
teacher?
playing CS:GO. Oh, CS 1.6.
uh, okay, so I have some questions. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do an if, right? If
Uh,
if
I don't know, but
I'm
I
looking
have
at this
to go
list.
now, dude.
was hit. Okay, you can go, Nathan.
Jonathan.
So, see you folks.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Bye. So we're gonna do was hit, and let's start with the player, right? So we need to send the coordinates of the player, so current coordinates on that. We
Mhm.
also need the game state player width, and we also need the game state player height. And then we're gonna oops,
Then we're gonna oops.
and then I'm gonna projectile there. And if that's true, we need to remove it, right? We need to remove it from here. And my Emacs is done. Yay! I hope I
Awesome.
saved it. Emacs, okay, thank you. Um, oh, that's interesting. So ooh, how are we gonna do that? Because I think this is gonna be means that player equals to new. But there's a problem, right? Because our spaceship things, they are always there. So if you want to be extremely precise of what we're doing, we need to make these things options.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, so FP option, how you do the thing? Option dot option. I remember that.
Yeah, dude, like it feels like I'm just toying, like adding this. Like I really dislike this.
What do you mean, man?
Like this type system, dude. Like it's as if we're toying with the language. Like
I
not
don't know
ex-
if I understood what you mean, but
it's like not expressive at all. Like
oh, it's not. No, but this is a problem in our modeling. If we are using F sharp or OCaml, this would be have to be an option as well.
oh yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is like I'm complaining about the types. Like this library, for example, it tried to add like very fancy features, but they're just a joke.
Well,
Not because of their fault. Like it's that the language is like the level is like it's like as if you pick Go, for example, and you try to do like very mirabolant stuff with the type system, and you don't have like generics.
yeah, Zosing proposed something on the last stream that it is a little bit interesting. He said, if you want to have generics, you need to option on for telemetry, and then you say, oh.
I was just programming Pascal. So, by the way, we could do a
Emacs is
project
dying.
in
Emacs.
Pascal. Dude, I saw that they are doing like there's two Russians doing
Oh, I did it wrong.
what is the name? It's not an emulator. It is a translation layer for the PlayStation 4. So it's like first step for emulating it kind of on a PC. You see,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's already can run like two or three games or something like this at full speed, like Sonic Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then like I basically said, oh, it's open source. Let me see. And then I opened the GitHub repo. I scrolled down, and then I saw they are doing the thing in Pascal. And I was, dude, what? Like that was a shock to me. Like you gotta be really
Ah,
good.
I'm getting to peace. I'm gonna disable LSP.
Okay,
How do I disable that? LSP
LSP shut down.
shut.
Shut down.
Are you sure? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Zosing stylize this thing and I don't care. So to do, we should make this as an option to kill the player because I notice how much work that will take to do this right now and I'm not in the mood. So spaceship, right. So we can just do exactly what we were doing before and I'm just gonna print things in the console, right?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say console log you should have died but uh, then we do the same thing, right? Then we do this, but instead of using the game player we need to do all the enemies now. So I think the best way of doing that is to use another fold, which is ironic, I guess. So we're gonna do game.
Another fold. I didn't get this part.
Yeah, because we need to fold with all the. We can use a for each if you prefer. That's another option. Because we need to do two folds. One, because it's two loops, right? We need to loop every single projectile to every single enemy. And we have a list of both.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
So we can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
game
Mhm.
enemies equal to fp array reduce again. And then we do game state again. No, not game state actually. We we do empty. We do empty. Yeah. And then we make a function here again. So it's gonna be in how you do the thing again? Oh, the
What?
brackets come after. Okay, so then you do an enemy list as the accumulator, and the element will be an enemy, which has the type enemy as well. Enemy. Cool. And then you do this. We're going to make the function later. And then you need to apply the container. And then the container will be the initial game state enemies. Right. Cool. And then the function, we're just going to do kind of very similar to this. There. Cool. And then we just say if the displayer, not displayer, sorry. So we actually need to change that. So if the enemy current coordinates and the enemy width and the enemy height was hit by the projectile, we're just going to return the accumulator. Otherwise, we're going to return how do you append stuff?
Append? Well, dot append, I
Push
think. Or you can add as well.
enemy. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
I
this
heard
push
that.
returns another accumulator.
I think it modifies the thing.
Okay. Um, wait, it modifies, so I need to
I
change. I need to put it like
yes, I
that.
think.
What the? My shortcuts broke. Okay, I don't know what happened there. ACC, and then console log should die bud, blah 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 blah, and then in here, no, not in there, actually here, we're gonna do return game state. Is that it? Is that it?
Let's see it.
Oh, we also need to remove the.
I don't know how that push works, so maybe that's wrong, but
You don't know how the push works? Oh, I think it adds at like it ends at the bottom of the array. That's my idea, right? So append element in array, um, of course, JavaScript. Push. It is pretty common to have this in Python as well, so that's why I guessed it, and I was right. I don't want to do lists of lists, people. I want to push. Is the question?
sorry.
If you can push multiple elements, why have a concat then?
Uh,
What the? Okay, so that's
maybe
kind of weird.
I yes, I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Oh, maybe
Sorry?
yes. No, I don't know. I cannot form a conjecture on why they
Yeah.
make. Probably they
Um.
just forgot the other was
Okay,
there.
still something missing. There's still something missing. We need to know. Manhattan said that if the projectile was hit, it will not penetrate. So we need to remove it from the game state as well. That means that if we got a hit, so I'm gonna make it in a very shitty way first. So I'm gonna make a flag and make it say false. Right. If you got a hit, I'm gonna say true. If you got a hit in here, I'm also gonna say true. And then in here, we're gonna do game state dot projectiles dot push. Um, actually, that depends if the flag is true. What the heck happened with my shortcuts? I don't have my go up thing.
Um. Okay.
Um, I'm gonna
Okay.
push this projectile back in if the flag continues to be actually not that. Did you get why?
If that was hit, wait, what? I
Yeah. So the flag starts with actually I
oh, I
should rename
see. I
this
thought.
with
Okay, I think I got
so
it.
should maintain.
Hmm.
Um, actually, now that I changed it to this name, I need to change it again as well. So this is should remove. Yeah. So if should remove starts with false. If we got a hit, that means that projectile was already used. Do you know what I mean? Right. So if
Mm,
that happens, we just set the flag to true, and before returning to the continue the fold, we just ask, oh, shouldn't I remove that? If I shouldn't, I'm just gonna put back in the new game state that I'm
okay.
generating here.
I think you need parentheses, by the way, on the if. I think.
Parentheses in the if, that makes sense. There's another problem though, which is that um, okay, I'm gonna have to make a let next game state, and I'm gonna say that this is equal to game state with I want to say projectiles. How do I clear this? Clear
How do I
array
clear?
JavaScript.
A
How do I
pop?
empty an array?
Maybe?
I want to pop all of them.
Um, well, while
Okay, so
pop.
let's okay, so let's do
Oh, this literally did.
let's do in the
Oh, but
not.
wait, if you want to clear all of them, why don't you set the array to empty?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just gonna say
Okay.
this, and then in here, instead of saying game state, I'm gonna say next game state. Why I'm doing that? Because the logic is that I'm gonna iterate through all the projectiles, and if nobody was hit because of that, I'm gonna just push that back in, right? Because I literally cleared all the projectiles in the next iteration, and but I have all of them in the previous game state, you see?
Mhm.
So what I need to do now is just actually doing things like this. Yep. So let's do that, and then we can say next game state like that, and that should be it. That should be enough. Let's see if it compiles. Nope. So it's saying that property array does not exist. Do you mean array? Probably I mean array. Yes. Because although it's weird, it's not capital letter for the things. It builds. I'm
Okay.
impressed.
If it's right, it's a different question.
Um, yeah, if it's right, that's a completely different question, and I agree with that. So the next thing is that we need to do that. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna say game state equals to update presence, and we're just gonna provide the game state like that. And then if everything goes according to plan, this is gonna build just fine. Yep. And if I go here and refresh this until I get unlocked, right? Because I can't move. Another thing that I want to fix is that console log thing. Console log. Yeah, this. I don't know how I got out though. Oh, I need to click on it? Maybe click.
Yes, possibly. Nothing. Open a console again and then click.
Oh, now it works.
Yeah, so it's a bug. Okay, we're gonna think of that later.
Okay, but I can't. Without the console, I can't move. I was moving before.
Yeah, you were.
I was moving before after I removed the console thing. So what if I do
Yeah, you didn't
maybe?
open the console specifically.
Oh, okay, so that's a pretty bad bug then. Uh, no.
Click on the GNU. Okay, now try. Nothing. Update like this.
Update what?
The page you
No,
refresh.
I press every time you see the Apple logo going back to the original position is big
Okay.
like this, right?
Mm-hmm. Because I can't see, like, it's just like choppy. So.
Yeah, but why? Why? I don't fully understand. And now it
Yeah.
works.
Could it be
Oh
that
no
the.
no, but this
Oh,
is
wait. Have a guess. Could it be that it only works if you're capturing events inside the area, but since you're clicking. Oh. But wait, do you agree that like by moving this console, you're basically like moving the size of the elements as well?
Yeah.
So maybe there is something related to that. We gotta, well, I don't know what, but we need to look into that.
Yeah, but how are you gonna test?
Just
Uh,
increase. Just put on the half of the screen.
no, no, no. But that's the thing. If you put that's different, man. Because if you put like this, we are moving. Not we're not moving the character. We are moving this bar.
No, just keep trying, testing with this, dude. It works. Half of it.
Why? How did I got I got out of that last time? Oh, now I can. Okay, so closing the tab works. Moment of truth. Ooh, this is a bug. I'm
Yeah.
pressing Z and the projectile is being removed automatically. That's not a good sign. Okay, so let's put console logs all over the place because that's how true developers do their shit. Um, so let's do like that. Let's build again. And let's see. Okay, I need to close that. Okay, so it's a combination of factors, I guess. Because now I can't move again. Oh no, I can. Oh no, I
Did this?
can't. It is the bar
Oh,
down there.
it is working.
Local.
Maybe. What?
I don't understand this. Do I have to actually close it and open again? Do I have to redo the server thing? Just serve. Oh, now it works. Okay, so there's whatever is going on there. It's weird. Wait, what? Dude, you see that?
Wait. See what?
It is not printing anything.
Oh, I see a black thing.
Yeah, but it's not going. The movements of the things. You see what I mean?
Oh, printing on the logs. You mean?
Yeah, it's doing nothing whatsoever. So how are we? Okay, so I have an idea. So console log. Let's do game state dot projectiles to see if we can print that out. Which, by the way, reminds me that we gotta finish this. It's already 2 hours. But I want to see the Apple logo disappearing. I really do. uh, I have no idea why, but there's a bug in the control stuff.
What could it be doing to delete the thing?
I'm just gonna do like what I did before. Just serve local. Not working.
Yeah, this bug is really annoying. And I don't know because that seems to be on the event API that we don't know we are misusing something. Gotta see if not though.
Oh, but this is only the bar thing again. Okay. Oh, now I can. Yeah, something is cleaning that up. So the game presence function is wrong. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have the.
Oh wait, isn't it because of this update presence setting to empty all the time?
No, but
Because
it is doing set to
travel.
empty. It is doing M to empty all the time. But this fold should put it back in. That's the problem. That's the problem. Well, I don't know about TypeScript and JavaScript.
Um,
Does this works like pointers? You know what I mean?
yeah, so if you're modifying that, I
I'm modifying
think
this and then we're done. But
possibly.
okay, so there is a way to figure out that, which is that do game state projectiles, and if this is also empty, that means that it is point. pointer based, and then we are done. But basically, oh wait, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I was moving, and I did reload. Why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, dude, we just leave this to next session.
Ah, making enemies. Making enemies collide. So close, yet so far. So close, yet so far. I just want to know if he, like, that thing of the pointer, and then we're gonna be done. Local. Okay, so let me close both and do local again. Open the console, because apparently for some reason you like the console. Oh man, this is so annoying. I get the... Oh, now it works. Nathan
What?
needs to fix this.
Okay, so go close to the Apple logo.
No, no,
Can
no,
you
but
go
you see,
close?
I'm pressing Z here.
No, yeah, I see there, but go to close to the Apple logo and try to press to have a collision. Like, just ignore that.
Oh, it's not there. Oh, that's hard.
You can play your own game, Lemons. What the heck?
No. But I think that
Yeah.
the thing is being removed immediately. It's just a visual bug, so we are never actually throwing a projectile in order
Mhm.
to travel and in order to collide with the Apple thing. So I think this is actually a problem of the folding, which I'm surprised to be being honest. So I think this means that this is actually pointer based. So that means that we need to clone. How to clone? Assign? What? What do you mean? Object assign. No, that's not what I want. Copy an object. Okay. You need to do that. That's okay. Why not? Let game state equals this.
Oh. Oh no.
And then we do that, and then we can let's keep this console log here. But if that works, that would be poggers. Poggers local. Let me open the console because for some reason it works when the console is open. It's still printing empty there, which makes sense. I'm not shooting anything. And now it works.
Oh.
Oh, so it worked!
So yes, that was the problem.
And the
Good, but
collision is wrong.
yeah.
Yay! At least we discovered that it's pointer based. I think that
Wait,
would
what the
laugh at our
what?
faces.
Wait, shoot only once. Stop. Shoot once. Why is it? What? Look at the array, dude.
Oh, this?
Why is it saving all the positions there?
Saving all the positions.
These are all the positions, dude. What? Dude, this is so strange. Because it's like a bunch of objects, you see? Inside of it. So it's like
Oh.
saving for every. Like, shoot once. Look at the number 141, 144, 149.
Oh. You're right. So we are probably doing some things that are very weird. And it is growing very fast. Yeah, it is going very fast. Oh, dude, this is because it's out of the canvas and the projectile is going on and on and on and on. And because we are
Oh,
accumulating
yeah.
that. Wow, that's bad. That's very
Mhm.
bad. But that's enough for today. So we know now. Actually, let's make some to-dos in here before we finish this. So we noticed that let's put the to-dos next to the projectile thing. So let's say there is some accumulation of the previous positions of the projectile in the game state. We should fix them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we need to actually put the to do in here and say review this folding function because it does not in fact work. Okay, and then we can just open Emacs. Everything is in one file, which means that it is easy as that. Start to work on um,
Collision.
object collision.
Oh man, I'm so hungry.
And now the stream